Joe the Nerd Ferraro, self-described, sent me this great image which outlines, which we'll put up on the screen for you, the people to congressperson ratio. So this is dating back to 1900. If we look at the number of people represented by each congressperson, the number has skyrocketed dramatically. In 1900, it was under 200,000 people were represented by each congressperson. And in 2010, it's up to over 700,000 people. So this I think is a big deal, and it's not really being discussed, which is that if we have these 435 members of the House of Representatives, as the population goes up, each time there is less representation per person, or each congressperson represents more and more people. I think that that's a problem. I think that maybe we need to peg the congressional seat to a fixed number of people and increase the size of Congress. Now, some people would argue, wait a second, eventually you would have a completely unmanageable body because you would have so many representatives. Well, it's also unfair that as the population grows, each person is a smaller and smaller part of their congressional district or of their representative in Congress. Do you agree or do you disagree with what I'm saying? Do you think it makes sense to just have a fixed number?
I disagree because the population is going to keep growing.
Right.
I mean, it's going to come to a point where there's no possible way that you can have the type of representation that you're looking for without having a completely out of control number of representatives.
2,500 representatives all of a sudden.
So what can you do? I mean, you might as well just keep things the way they are.
But is it a problem that with time, each congressperson is representing more and more people just by sheer, let's translate it to anything else. The more students a teacher has in their classroom, the less attention each student gets. Arguably, the quality of the teaching goes down also. Depends on the scenario.
But would you say that that's the case when you're in a class of 400 students at UMass? I mean, would you say
there was no individual attention?
Right.
Did I learn less? It's hard to say. It was a different type of class when I had my 400-person lectures at UMass. But there was certainly almost no attention. Office hours were packed if you needed to speak to the professor about anything. I think it's just math. Yeah, Natan.
I think there should be more representatives given the amount of population expansion. But also, I would say this isn't really what's mainly wrong with our political system. I think a much bigger problem is money. And this is I don't think the reason why the Congress isn't representative of the people is because of this problem.
Okay.
Let's face it, already these representatives don't really reflect the will of their constituents, so what difference does it make?
Well, maybe look at the numbers. Even if we go back to, 1970, in 1970, you already had each member of Congress representing more than twice the number of people they did in 1900. So can't we say by that point it was already this problem? I mean, I don't know when you're comparing to when you say they already don't represent the will of the people.
I mean, just in general, they don't represent the will of their people when it comes to what they're voting on.
Well, send me your thoughts on this through our website, davidpakman.com. Thanks to Joe the Nerd for sending me this graphic.